In this video, I'm going to show you how I took this $5 yard sale lawnmower and got it running again. This is Rudy from Take a Bath Productions with another video showing you how to fix various things. If you're a subscribed member to my community, then welcome back. If you're new to my channel, consider clicking that subscribe button below, and please like this video. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive right in. Okay, so here's this old mower that I was telling you about. I picked up at a yard sale for $5. I think what happened is a very common problem with these older Briggs engines is the primer ball quit working. It quit priming. They couldn't get the engine started, so they parked it, and then the carburetor got all gummed up. Okay, so I've already cleaned out the carburetor. I have some other videos that I'll link to below on cleaning out the carburetor, but this video is about why did the primer ball quit working. And I'll show you what they did and not to do that, and I'll show you a little trick that I use that will usually work. All right, so let's get right to it. All right, so as you can see, what they've done here, this gasket right here is usually the culprit to the primer ball. When you push the primer ball, the air comes through this little port right here, and then it makes its way into the carburetor. But look what they've done. They took some silicone or blue goo or RTV or whatever this stuff is, and they've smeared it all over the place. And all this does is it'll clog up this little hole right here, and I'll show you in a second on the carburetor what I mean, and it still don't work. So this is not the right way to do this. What we need to do is take the, of course yours probably won't have this, but obviously if yours doesn't have this, you're going to still need to replace this gasket. But we need to clean up this RTV and start over from scratch. Now, of course, the other solution to this is to replace this air box right here. That will work, and then you can get by with just the normal gasket and put it on the normal way, and that will usually work. But this air box is a little bit on the expensive side. I think they're $20 to $25, somewhere in that price range, but these gaskets are very cheap. Just wanted to show you this right here. I took the gasket off. It's junk. It's useless. But look what they've done right here. See, this whole thing right here is where that air comes out of the primer ball. See, it comes through here and goes up through this little channel and then comes out right here in the hole in the carburetor. But this whole thing is clogged up with goo. And this is the reason right here you don't want to try to fix it this way, because it's no good. Now I have to scrape all that out of there and try to clean that up. And this little hole right here in the carburetor is where that leads up to. It comes through here, goes up here, and it goes in right there. And if that isn't working right, then you don't get any primer coming up out of that tube right there in the middle of the carburetor. So we got to clean this gasket off too. Chances are, hopefully we can clean this without contaminating the carburetor, because if we do, we're going to have to take it back apart again and clean it out again. Alright, so I got this part cleaned out pretty good right here. I just used a pair of snap ring pliers and a small screwdriver. Now again, you probably won't have this, but I just happen to have some genius that thought he would fix it with some blue goo, but nevertheless, this needs to be clear. So I'm going to try a flat razor blade. You don't want to gouge up this surface too much right here. So just kind of work on it slowly and patiently, as if you gouge this up, it's not going to ever seal again with that seal. So we're going to work on this with a flat razor and some fine sandpaper, some steel wool maybe. And once we do that, we're going to come back. Again, you don't want to contaminate this carburetor with these shavings from the gasket, as if you do, you're going to have to take it apart and clean it again. Okay, got both surfaces cleaned up, and once you do that, you're ready to put it back together. And here's the little trick that I use. So you take your air box and you put the gasket back the normal way without the blue goo or the white goo or whatever kind of goo they put on there. See these little tabs right here? You just press the gasket down onto those. Make sure it's in the groove real good. And then what you can do is because obviously one gasket doesn't work, that's the reason that it quit working, is you double the gasket. And I've even tripled this gasket before. I think after 3, then pretty much you need a new air box, but this will probably work. We're going to try to double the gasket, put it back together, and then see what happens from there. All right, I got the air box screwed back on. Now you're going to want the air box screws fairly tight, but not over tightened, otherwise you're going to warp it some more. And of course, if this trick doesn't work, then you're not really out much, $1.50 or so for a gasket, and then you just order an air box. But here we go, let's try it. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, that took care of that. Okay, so let's see if this thing runs. Oh yeah, she runs like a champ. No problem there. It lives again. So that's how I would fix this lawnmower. Now, of course, if this trick doesn't work, you'll have to replace the whole air box, and I will post a link in the description below to those parts if you should need them. Okay, so thanks for watching.